Gravity, you, and the universe. Space, the final frontier. Gravity is everywhere in the universe. This is our galaxy, the Milky Way. And you'll notice how it is spinning around its center of gravity on an axis here. Make note of that because that's actually the way you move also, how gravity works in your body. And I'll get to that in a moment. But isn't it beautiful? That's the Milky Way. This is our planet Earth. The center of gravity of the Earth is exactly in the center of the Earth, and we are standing somewhere on the surface of the Earth. And wherever we are, there's a direct line, gravity line, between the center of gravity of the Earth and our center of gravity. We call the vertical axis. The Earth orbits around the sun. We are also subject to the sun's gravity. And we have the waves coming in caused by the moon's gravity. Well, gravity is a very powerful force in our world and in the entire universe. Gravity exists everywhere on Earth. Here, this is in the Nepali Cliffs in Hawaii, where I was, in Kauai, and you can see the waterfalls coming down 4,000 feet into the ocean. And it's just beautiful to see how everything works in perfect harmony. And on the beach in Kauai, and you can see how the waves are formed by gravity, by the moon's gravity, and the sun shining on everything and giving it life. And I'm teaching yoga here on Kauai. And this is the vertical axis. So we're standing here and we're feeling this axis, and we're moving in the lateral axis in the coronal plane. But anyway, we're doing yoga out in the sunshine, and we're feeling this energy, and it's just fantastic. Here are Pacific Northwest, gravity at work. You can see how the glacial melt's coming down to this gorgeous lake, and the trees are growing up toward the sun, and everything is as it should be. This is our natural world, and it's perfect. Now, Newton's universal law of gravity came up with this idea about 300 years ago, but believe me, it's been around much longer than that. He just discovered it. So here's, again, our planet, and you are standing on the surface of the planet. Hold it steady. And there's the center of the Earth, and there's the gravity line right there. And so what this describes is the force of gravity upon you and also upon the Earth, and it is equal in magnitude and opposite in direction. That is Newton's third law. So that's important to know. Gravity exists in your body, and all movement revolves around the center of gravity in your body. That center is located in the center of your pelvis right here, where I've got the red circle. And also here's the gravity line that goes to the center of the Earth, and the bones are stacked in alignment to handle the force of gravity. Bones resist gravity. There it is right there. It's the center of the pelvis. That's a natural center of gravity of the human body. It does move if you are moving in different positions and you have your limbs out in front of you. It can actually go outside of your body, but not very far. It'll come back. This is called the skeletal system chart. So that's this chart right here, and this describes neutral posture. This is our blueprint. This is how we're made, or we're designed this way. There are muscles that are important too. Now, muscles pull. Now, the center of gravity is located right here in front of S2, which is the sacral vertebrae number 2. And this muscle in particular is very important. It's called the psoas major. It enables us to stand upright and walk upon the earth. Newton's universal law of gravity, this is the proof. Don't need to know all this, but it is really fascinating, and it's not very, very hard to understand once you get into it. And so this is the derivation of this very famous formula, F equals ma, which is force equals mass times acceleration. And we have the 3 laws of gravity by Newton. First law is the law of inertia. Second law is F equals ma. And third law, I mentioned before, it's the action-reaction force pairs. That third law is really important to pay attention to, all of them actually. So gravity, physics is the study of nature. You're subject to physics. And gravity connects everything. You want to go with the flow. or suffer. If you don't, you'll know it. Here we have somewhat of a conundrum. The human being design of us, we're designed to be in neutral posture and to move efficiently with gravity. So efficient movement with gravity with no pain. This requires awareness and alignment. We're actually born with this. I mean, there are exceptions, of course, and injuries do happen. So there's things that can throw it off. We're also designed to survive above all else. And our mind can ignore body signals, including pain. So it can override this design to survive or for its own reasons. And so mind and body can be elevated and improved. That's the good news. So we have this somewhat of a tug of war over different design elements. Let's look back 70 years. This is Lauren Bacall and Humphrey Bogart. And Lauren Bacall at age 19 in her first film, To Have and To Have Not. Humphrey Bogart at that time was 44. And here, he's 45 years old, and this is Lauren Bacall, I think about 45 years old, in her 40s. And look at their posture. If you look at people, if you look at the older movies, older photographs from back in that day, in fact, all the way up until the computer age, most people had very good posture. A lot of people had neutral posture, in fact. Not everybody, but the majority did, in my opinion. Now let's fast forward to 2014. This is Mr. Justin Bieber, age 19. And you can see that he has a bit of a head forward posture. Now, if you drew the gravity line, it would come up like that, well past, well behind his ear. And also, if you look at a person and their head is lower, I mean, he's got a long neck, but his head should be higher off his shoulders and his left shoulder is elevated. I see this right away. And you will too once you learn to recognize it. Here's a gal, she's in 2015, 19 years old, and you see the angle of the neck. And this is not unusual. This is not unusual. If you look around at people, you'll find that it's very common, and it creates problems. And also the curvature here, anyway, there's a lot of problems that can result from head forward posture, and I'll get to that in just a moment. Over the past 10 years of my clinical practice, the people who come to see me, I would say that 1% actually have neutral posture, and the other 99% do not. They need work. This diagram is this is static equilibrium. That means the sum of all moments equals 0, sum of all moments about the vertical axis and also about the center of gravity equals 0. If they don't equal 0, you will fall down. It's that simple. So the person on the left is standing in neutral posture, and he's not working very hard to stand up. His muscles are not working very hard. The person on the right is definitely working hard to compensate, and his head is forward. So the vertical axis of gravity is transmitted through the bones. Bones resist and muscles pull. It's just how it works. You've got to stack your bones. So remember, the center of the earth is exerting the gravitational force on your center of gravity in your body, and it's equally exerting onto the earth, and that's how this works. I wish people were more aware of it. This is my studio where I work. Those are charts on the wall. This is the plumb line. This points exactly toward the center of the earth. And what I do is I have people stand behind the plumb line, and here's a young woman that came in to see me, and her head is definitely forward. This is just very typical, what you see. So cost-benefit analysis, for example, the problems can happen, joint replacement surgery, $10,000 to $90,000. In my studio, $2,000 to $3,000, and you're done with 6 sessions, no further work. Joint replacement surgeries are expensive. Each knee is $50,000, the hip, $40,000, ankle, $40,000, etc. And so this is skyrocketing, and it's going up over 1 million hip and knee surgeries in 2010, and it's going up at just a skyrocketing rate. Sleep apnea is another major problem that we have from head forward posture. 25 million adults have it. 26% of adults aged 30 to 70 will have it. That is a crisis. Okay, here's a cost-benefit analysis here between what I do and what you're going to pay if you get this. $9,000 to $16,000 in ongoing costs. Here's a quick diagram to show a normal breathing pattern, breathing blocked by sleep apnea right here, and breathing enabled by, you can just get a CPAP machine, no problem, right? So here we have breathing blocked by the sleep apnea, and then we have this nifty surgery that you can get called the UPPP surgery. They'll just cut it out so you can breathe. Now, there's been a strong correlation between head forward posture and sleep apnea, which I referenced in this few slides here, one slide. But I'll leave you with Lauren McCall. I think her expression shows it all, and her body attitude, her posture. Thank you very much.